I think we're live. Yeah, I think we're recording. All right, so welcome for another episode of the Activation Show. My name is Kim Gadraj, and this podcast is all about speaking and living your truth. And I feel like telling a tiny little bit of story before I introduce you, Virginie, because I was just telling you about this, that in my personal development journey, I had quite a long period of time where I sort of like stopped caring really about, how I'm dressed or what my makeup is like or what my hair is like. And um, like several months ago, I sort of experienced this shift. Something happened in me, and I was like, actually, I do like that. This does feel like it's part of my self care and my authentic self expression. And yeah, there's been a little shift in that for me. And that's why I'm really excited to have Virginie on the podcast to talk about this, to, bring in the aspect of like, how do we dress and how do we sort of like present ourselves visually and physically to the world. So, welcome, Virginie.
Thank you.
Virginie is also actually my business buddy.
Yes.
And we meet every couple of weeks to just like talk about and share about how it's going for us entrepreneurially. So it feels really great to have you here.
Thank you. It feels very nice to be here in a different space with you.
Yeah. And we were actually just talking in our last like business bud session about how sometimes people misunderstand what it is that you do. So maybe it's a
Yeah.
great chance now to like to
Yeah.
let people know. Like, do you want to describe a bit
Yeah.
what you do?
Let me give a little bit of background first. I studied in art school and design school, and I studied fashion design, textile design to be more precise. And I worked in a couple of big companies such as H&M for 13 years, where I did many different roles. And of course, I explored very deeply the fashion part or the style part of fashion, and how fashion can be a tool very much that you can use. But I also worked a lot in recruitment for a while, in recruiting talents for the company. So it's also I've liked something that trained me to see people's potential, and also being with self-expression and people who speak their truth and so on. And now I have jumped into, like you, being an entrepreneur. And I'm what we call, to be more precise, I'm what we call an image consultant, but I think it's more known under the name personal stylist. And my mean of work is literally to dress people according to their personality, to make sure that we align the inside and the outside, that we are being congruent, and that we dig into who you are. And to link back of what you were just sharing, Kim, everything is important. The inside and the outside, everything is important. And the more congruency we bring between the inner and the outer, the more trust we create for people when they approach us and when they want to talk with us. And don't forget that, your clothes will speak for you before even you speak. And as you know, expression is not just words and not just tone of voice, it's mostly body language. And there's a bunch of research on the subject. Trust me, I've been reading every book about fashion psychology or fashion philosophy, as we want to call it. There's not so many on the market, so it went quick, but I've read all of them. And there are research really showing this, that we are affected by what we wear. So when we wear the wrong type of clothes, when we wear the wrong type of colors, also specifically colors, we are going to feel a certain way about ourselves. And it might bring incongruency or discomfort within as well. And also at the same time, clothes can be like, it can be a little push for you to explore another aspect of your personality. If you want to do the inner work, it cannot just be about the clothes. That's really what I need to say here. If you do it only about the clothes and the inner work doesn't follow inside, the effect of the clothes will wear off, And you will do the opposite. You will create distrust with people because they will be attracted to you because you dress a certain way. But as soon as you will speak, you will not express yourself in a way which is congruent to the image that you give. And there it will create distrust. Like, okay, she shows this, but she says that. What is it here? And it will take longer to create trust. And to
Mm.
resume what I do, because now I already went into the explanation, but what I do is I help people to dress up, to find what are their colors, what are their personality through clothes. I give them an ebook of how we recap, what type of basic, what type of print. I also work with makeup specialists and hair care specialists, what type of haircut. And we also take in consideration the body shape and the face shape because it's also part of us. And it's either we want to soften it or either we want to give it more attitude. It depends what we are after. And it's then it's up to people who work with me to put on as much as they want as effort to explore, because it is an exploration. I'm just going to give them a space and tools to explore, and then it will be up to them to explore as deep as they want to and to find out who they are in that. So that's what I do. I'm a fashion space holder, we could say, or style space holder. I don't know.
Woo. It's beautiful. It's really nice to hear you speaking into it. And like, I feel like you've already touched on this, but um, sometimes focusing on the clothes and the colors and the hair and the makeup, it can be seen as superficial.
Hmm.
Um,
And I would look at the judgment here.
mm,
If you are starting to have this voice that it is superficial, first, who is superficial? Is it others? What is the judgment about? Are you comfortable? Because we are really free when we are comfortable to be in any space. So if you're not comfortable exploring that yourself, I will dig into that. Why do I have judgment? Why I'm not comfortable with this? Because when people truly explore themselves and show that out to the world, it's like singing. You teach people singing. It's like you bring your voice out, you close, you bring a bit of art yourself out there. So if you're not comfortable with that, I would really explore why. And it could be that in the people you look at, there are a part of ego at play. Of course, this is everything has a shadow side. The same way that humbleness of wanting to just inside is important and makeup is superficial can have also a shadow of wanting to be humble or wanting to be better, you see. So you cannot just take the matter just like it's superficial or it's not. You have to dig into you. Why do I find it superficial? Why do I have judgment here? Why do I judge? What are my values here? Maybe you will find something about yourself just by this exploration. What do I have resistance here? And often resistance can be the way sometimes. Or is it something that I enjoy but don't need? Or can yeah, I will stop there for that answer. But yeah, I would say I would explore the judgment here, first of all.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really linked to something that I was reflecting that feels quite like a parallel between what I do and what you do. Because I'm helping people to sing or to claim their inner artist or musician or to just say what they really mean and speak their truth out in the world. And all of those things, they take some courage. They take some groundedness in oneself and some very deep rooted self confidence that we can't really fake. And we do need to do that inner work to sort of like create the conditions from the inside out to feel comfortable to actually do those things. And it makes me think of, some of my clothes in my wardrobe are things that I got at some point because I was like, wow, I love this. And sometimes I feel shy to actually put them on and go out wearing them. It might be something that's just like a little bit wild, and I know that it's gonna, capture people's attention and like put me in the spotlight a little bit. Sometimes it's because it's like something like this where I'm just like
Mm.
showing a part of my body that takes a bit more confidence. So like I do feel like also with your work, what you do, and I'm curious to hear from you if there is that sort of other process with your clients, of it not maybe only being about choosing the right clothes for the body type and the right colors for the skin and things, and actually this sort of like, can I really wear that? Or, like how
Yeah.
does this play out for you?
There's many things in what you just shared. Let me get back a little bit, because there's a paradox here between confidence and finding confidence. It's like if we put something on, we are going to feel more confident. We know that when we put the right clothes for us, and when we feel more better looking, or we feel more confident. We know that from research in psychology. But at the same time, I need confidence to do that because I'm exposing myself, because I am taking space. I am taking, exactly as you said with the voice, I am starting to take space in who I am. And of course, it's not just about the right clothes and the right color, but it's with the client, we do a deep exploration about the personality. It's more a link to style, because here most likely you want to change look, or you want to achieve a certain look, but you are not there yet, or you're not fully daring. So of course I'm going to give those tools of colors and body shape, are going to help it to make it easier, but we also need to clarify the image of who are you, because most likely there's an image you would like to be, that you dream of, but you're probably a little bit scared about to fully embody. Yeah, you see what I'm meaning, like this. And it's exactly what you're talking about, like putting those clothes on that you feel a little bit shy about. And that is really, to me, it's not just in clothes, it's in life in general. This is a mindset of trying to get out of your comfort zone, not in your stress zone, but in your comfort, expanding your range, daring. And I mean, I had a friend, she used to do that. She used to go to stores and pick up all the clothes she was afraid of, as not afraid to be ugly or something like this, but more afraid of other women can really wear it. It's way too sexy for me, or it's way too empowering for me, or it's beautiful, but I would never dare to show myself out there. So she practiced that and she wore it in the wardrobe, like she's expanding her range here of discomfort, and she's expanding how it feels to own herself more. And of course, I don't remember the exact story, but I'm pretty sure she bought some of those and started to wear them and started to feel like she owned herself a little bit more. Did I answer your question pretty much? Or yes?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
it's a tool.
Absolutely. And I love that you sort of picked out this paradox also in what I
Mhm.
was talking about, because I feel that also, that the right clothes and the right, they can make you feel
Yes, they do.
more
We know that they make you
confident
feel.
as well.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna address more to women, but men relate to your experience in that. Like when you have dressed up good for a date or for an evening out, you look at yourself in the mirror like, you know, like you feel seduced by you. You see what I mean? So when you walk
Mm.
out with that energy of seduction, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the best flirter or seducer, but there's a seduction, there's a self seduction first to get. Then you can bring that out to people. So it's not needy, it's centered, it's aligned within you of feeling yourself. And also at the same time, I want also something important here. There's also those days where you don't want to dress up, you know
Mm.
and you want to stay in PJ, you don't want to make it, or you want to be able to go out and don't give and those are important too, because they also related to your mood. They also help you. Okay, I'm going to wear something more comfortable. They also help you to feel more what you need to feel there, which is maybe you need relaxation, or maybe you are sad someday, or maybe you need to be present with those feelings. So use clothes to make you feel more. The same way, you use music. When you're sad, you listen to sad songs because it helps you to be with the feeling. Or so, and when you're energized, so you align it with your feeling. You don't have to force it, however, but sometimes it might be a tool to help. Okay, I really need self-confidence. Yeah, I'm going to a job interview. I think job interview is a really good example because you do need that self-confidence that you maybe don't have. So I would say if you dress up well on top with the good colors, the good clothes, well groomed, you're going to feel already you create more trust for your interview and you're going to feel more secure when you speak. I mean, imagine if I would come today, talk with you about fashion, and I would just, I don't know, wear my ugly t shirt, the wrong colors, or would you have trust in what I'm saying? Probably not. So, but it's not again about appearance. If I would speak and I have nothing to say, it will also not work. But I need to feel it in me. And as soon as I put that on today, I was like, I like myself in that. Yeah, I feel it. I can say like, yeah, I can talk about the clothes. I know how to do that. So
Mm,
yeah, it's like you when you go on stage, you wear the clothes who are gonna the way you're gonna you do all those exercise to enhance your voice to get your voice more line and more clear. I'm not an expert, but you have probably better words. And we put clothes on, we're gonna support to show who you are to the world, to really gift who you are to the world when you're on stage. And you're on stage all day. You're on stage all day when you walk in the street, when you're always living your own life. Yeah,
mm.
I'm going far. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I feel everything really very connected, like if I because the way that you're showing up now, you're talking about how you're dressed, but your voice is also a part of how you're showing up now,
yes,
and your body language is also a part of
yes,
how you're showing up now. And so all of these different ways, or maybe my mind is at the moment most focused on voice,
your voice also.
body, or like movements, and actual like styling or appearance, and how if I feel strong and confident in my voice, I might hold myself differently. I also
Yes.
work quite a lot with the body in my voice work, because that's so connected to the voice, and how confident we feel. I guess you also, clothes look very different on us depending on how we are, like how we hold ourselves and our posture. And what I quite often get people to do is like
Uh,
imitate, like a
yeah.
sort of
Uh,
defeated or collapsed posture, and just hold that for a while and notice how it does actually really affect how we feel, versus like I was just talking in a recent solo episode about how I had noticed that I was out walking in the forest. And every time I would meet somebody coming towards me, I suddenly noticed that I did this thing. I would sort of like
mm.
put my shoulders down a bit, duck my head a little bit, and like do this little nice smile of like, I'm nice, like I'm not a threat or something. And I just suddenly noticed myself doing that. I was like, whoa. And I then instead I put my shoulders back and I like swung my hips and I walked in a more confident way, and instead I met people like that once I took
Mhm.
consciousness of it, and it felt so different.
And what was
And I
their
guess
reaction? What feedback did you get from them in that?
I think I actually felt more of a connection when I was taking more space with myself. Um and certainly I felt more of a connection to myself, because it was like, I'm meeting the world from a place of power rather than a like, oh, like, excuse me for being
Yeah,
here on the
yeah,
same forest path as you.
yes.
you know and like, so I'm thinking a lot about the body and how that affects how we feel, and I guess that also really affects like your work as well, because it affects the like how we hold ourselves is gonna make the clothes that we wear look different, right?
Yeah, I want to talk about something here when you speak is respect, self-respect. Of they are we can let me put that into part. There are research showing that when you put on certain clothes, the body posture change automatically, and people say, "Oh, I feel more confident," especially like workwear staff or a blouse from a doctor, even if they are not doctors. Or you see that in kids. As soon as kids play dress up, so they put on outfit or costume and they act differently. If you put on, and I have done that, so I with children, so I've seen that. But if they put on a costume of a superhero in red, they start to run around and run fast. So it will change your posture, it will change your body language, and it will change your movement. But I think what I really want to speak here about is respect, because you are helping people to align with their voice. And there's a big thing about speaking your truth. And speaking your truth is a lot about self respect toward yourself. And then it creates
Mm.
respect, because you are more truthful to you, people have respect for this, the fact that you're truthful to you, and respect you more. And then we create a certain type of relationship where there's a connection of a truthful connection, and a connection of respect and care and love eventually. And it's the same with clothes. Because imagine if inside I am a certain person, but I'm hiding that constantly. I'm not respecting myself, first of all, and it doesn't create respect from other people either. And we're not in connection because I'm not with truth. So they cannot connect with me, or they cannot really react to me. Like you said, when you were afraid to be, you were afraid to take too much space in the forest because
Mm.
we don't want to be afraid, or we don't want to disturb. But your conclusion was, when I showed more of me, I didn't disturb, I actually created connection more. And it's close up doing the exact same. Your voice is doing the exact same when you speak, the way you look, the way you move. If I show more of who I am, I'm a bit more vulnerable. And again, it's speaking from a place where we align the clothes with who you are. We are not projecting a fake persona with the clothes, which is the shadow of styling. But then, and also people will get more attracted to you, because when people there, like, look, if we all have heroes, or we all have people who admire, or personality on TV or medias that we're like, wow, what a woman, or what a man, or what a person, you know. And we admire them because they live a truthful life, because they speak their truth, they align with their action, so it creates an attraction.
Mm.
And do you imagine them be like, oh no, sorry, I didn't wear my nice clothes today, or the clothes that I like, that I enjoy, that feel on me? Because I thought it would take too much space here to speak my truth, say really what I mean, and defend whatever cause I'm defending. And no, we're attracted to them because they are open. They are daring to show, I'm here. This is what I am, and what it contains, and what I'm gonna do with it. And it's not about showing off with clothes. Your style, your look can be, I like when it's busy, we could say, and colorful, and but some people will have a different one because they are calm and humble, and they will wear me as more white, and it will be more about texture. We can, it's like painting. We're giving nuances, we're giving colors, we're giving texture, we're giving depth, we're bringing more nuance to who you are. We are making you a step closer to you. And that takes, as you say earlier, guts and courage, because you have to know who you are, or you have to discover who you are. And this process will also reveal a lot of who you are, and how much you are maybe afraid to step into your shoes, or how much you're like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And both are okay also. We're at different stage. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's also fun. It's a costume also, you can explore different personality and be like, yes, this is me. No, this is not me. Oh, why does it feel like this? How does it feel like that? So it's a fun way. It's a playful fun. I had an assistant who was often saying that it's a playful, fun, and light way to explore oneself and personal development, and not to make it so heavy or traumatic or linked. And we all have history, trust me, with clothes and childhood and trauma as well. But when we can realign everything, as you said, our voice, our body image, our posture, our movement, and the image we reflect with our clothes, what a beautiful mix.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And I think, you you really also bring out the creative process in it. It's like, with the voice, we can write songs and make different art with the voice. Um, and that's one way of sort of like making art out of ourselves, because we're making art out of the sound of ourselves. And what you're doing is making art out of the look of
Yes.
ourselves. And I imagine that really also puts people more deeply in their creativity, um, when
Some
you
of
work
them.
with them.
Some of them, yes. And
Mm.
you talk about songs now, and I don't know how you write songs. I don't know if you move in your apartment and you try to express them or make the gesture. I could imagine you could do something like this to be creative. And I'm like, what about if you dress it up in your apartment alone and play that role or get into that character? I mean, there is a reason why on stage actors wear certain clothes and not their day-to-day clothes, but the character clothes. So yeah, it's an exploration, and it's creative. It's creative. It's like, okay, how? I mean, I like to speak sometimes about what is creativity. Also, creativity is like when you take two things which has nothing to do together and you put them together, and you create something out of it. So you can do that meanwhile you cook as well. You take ingredients, you don't know what to do with it, and you just dare to put something together, and something will emerge from it. And my guess is it's what you do also with your music. You take some lyrics, some words, and some notes, and you sort of try it together, and it brings something. And there's also all
Mm.
the other moment where it brings nothing. I mean, I'm sure you have had plenty of those, but because you repeatedly try to combine things, you start to have a learning of what goes with what, music and words and notes. And there's surprise still in that. There's no perfect rules. And it's the same with clothes, because you have practice combining different things with trial and error. Then you start to be good at it. And it start to be, you can even
Mm.
achieve certain level of mastery with it, if you like it. But it's yeah, creativity exploration.
Yeah,
And I
beautiful.
I don't let people alone, and that I give some tools, of course, for that. The same way you probably give some exercise with a voice, also give some tools. How can you help yourself in that, but it's going faster?
Yeah, I remember in one of our business sessions, you were really happy. I think you said to me, like, wow, I just got these photos from my client of like the clothes that they picked out for themselves. And like they did such a good job. And I'm so proud of them. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
my work is done here or something. And you were just really happy that you'd sort of like given them the tools to keep going for themselves afterwards.
Yes, that's something that struck me every time, because it took me years to learn. So I'm like, what can I give them in a few hours? Like, and they do. I see they continues, because we do a process where you explore yourself, therefore you get more clarity about you. And when you have more clarity, you know more what to choose and what to pick. I guess people
Mm.
have clarity of their song type. You can explore a new one, but okay, I'm more of that type of lyrics, and I'm more into that type of music. And it's the same
Mm.
here. They get to know more of who they are. They know more what they like. They know more what fits them. And then they send me a picture of clothes they pick themselves, and I'm like, wow, that's superb. That's amazing. So they are feeling secure in themselves, and yeah, more confidence, more self-respect, more at ease, feeling better, radiating that to the world out. Yeah, and I'm always it's
Mm.
always beautiful to watch. Actually, it really is. And there's a softness that comes out after often. I notice like what we call empowerment. I'm starting to not like this word anymore, because it's so overused in the marketing and the sales. Be empowered, so it starts to lose its weight and mean nothing. And
Mm.
it's not a word,
Mm.
it's actually more of an experience, to experience people who are truly empowered, to feel yourself truly empowered. And it's what I see in my clients. I see a lot of women being so much more connected to their feminine at the same time that they can be team CEO or team leaders, or being in their masculine, to have those two energy reconciliate. in their appearance and how they navigate both, being a leader and at the same time bring this feminine softness. It's amazing to watch. For me, it's amazing to witness, and always a surprise. Always.
Mm, beautiful. I think something that I want to bring into this because, like, you know, with people that I know also, and also with myself, and that I really do see as empowered, I still see this kind of insecurity or vulnerability coming up a lot. Um, and I think I have worked a lot on the process of like coming to love my body and all
Mm.
parts of my body. I've even written a song about it, and
Nice.
I've made a
Nice.
choir version of that. So I have my whole choir being like body love, unconditional body love. And there's something so healing about singing that song, and then also about seeing all of these different bodies and shades of beauty in women also singing that song. But so so most of the time nowadays when I look in the mirror, I am like, oh damn, I am beautiful. But
Mm.
still, it has not always been like that. And still, sometimes I have these sort of like mind fuck times where I totally lose touch. It's like I've totally lost touch with everything, and I can't tell if I'm obese, if I'm so ugly. It's like these periods of total body dysmorphia where I just feel like I've lost touch with any kind of objectivity, and all I can come back to really is, am I taking care of myself? Am I eating well? Am I moving my body well? Like, am I loving myself? And this sort of like grounds me and anchors me back in. But I guess, I guess what I want to touch on with you is like that other maybe vulnerability or insecurity aspect of um that it's so easy, I think, to fall into because of all the voices that there are in the world around. And if I can zoom in on a process for me at the moment, it's like a special part of my body that I've been learning to love is my belly. And I love wearing these little crop tops, and then sometimes I just like, maybe I catch a photo of myself because I've put on this little crop top and I've been looking at myself in the mirror and sort of like holding myself a certain way in the mirror, and I think it looks really good. And then maybe there's a photo of me and I'm sort of like doing this, and then it's like like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
belly looks totally different, and I don't want to, and I don't feel like I can be totally aware of my posture all the time. So I don't know. Like, I said a lot
Yeah.
in this, but
Yeah. Let me grab
um,
some pieces here. I love that you brought the
yeah.
example of the belly because it's often the most hated part in the woman's body. That we have the most judgment about how it should be. And I want to say something that maybe some women already know, but I discovered not so long ago, and I was so astonished. We have a pouch there because it's supposed to protect our reproductive organs. So that's why the belly is supposed to be rounded, or is supposed to have some sort of say fat. So it has a function actually. So first of all, digest this part. Second, I'm like, there's many things. I took some notes actually when you were speaking because I was like, oh, I want to tell her about this, I want to tell her about that. I created a Facebook group for clients and also for people who wants to join or any woman was interested because I interviewed a lot of women, especially on the theme of dressing up sexy, dressing up feminine, dressing up sensual, and we just touch upon the topic of clothes in general. And what I noticed is almost 99% of those women have had encountered really heavy self-judgment during teenage time and early adulthood. So when you say, yeah, I have those talk how my body look like or how my body look like, I'm like, where are those judgments coming from? Who is saying that? And now you and me are not going to dig into that, but I'm pretty sure this voice is not yours. I mean, have you ever seen a baby or toddler being like, "Oh, I'm all rounded and fripped. Ooh, this is weird." We are not born like this. But like imagine like, "Oh, what is?" Having an inner child. It would be so funny, like a baby, like, I'm chubby. But anyway, what I mean by this is, yes, there is a judgment from society. Yes, this voice is not yours and come from many other voice. And the fear of being rejected, of not being, and belonging to the tribe is very, very important. It's one of the most a powerful force because it comes from our reptilian brain, and this is still active whether we're conscious human being or not, and it takes million years to change a reptilian brain, so trust me, we're not there. So of course you will feel frightened if your image doesn't fit, of course. But try to have that as a space. And also, I was really impressed with the exercise you just say you were doing of taking pictures, because you are re-establishing the truth of both truth. Ooh, I look good, and sometimes, yeah, it has this weird shape in my belly, so I cannot be always there. And I did the same. I actually have a post, I think, on my Facebook where I took like all the bad pictures of me. And for a while, I trained when people were posting picture of me, like we take group picture and they post it on Facebook. I always trained that they took a picture and I'm not good looking in it, and they still post it. So I trained not being good looking in a way that I felt comfortable enough with it. I also love to go to women's group and dress up super beautiful and have also super nice clothes, going to festival. And I trained the opposite as well, going without it. I did that for a long time until I was okay with it. So there is both to harness. And because we also want to rebalance, you need to look at your body, you need to be like, okay, my hands are a little bit small. I mean, my nails are terribly eaten most of the time, but my hands are pretty cute. So we don't fall into body dysmorphia. We need to reestablish the truth here. Your body is not just your belly. Because if you focus like this on your nose, you're going to be like, let's do this, let's do that. But you need to look at the entirety of things. It's like in a situation, you cannot look at just what a person said. You have to look at everything, the context, when it happened, what happened, how do I communicate, how do we communicate. We need to look at the entire context. I was going somewhere here, but I'm a bit losing my train of thought. But I think you're getting my point. Another thing that I really, and it takes gut to look at your body. I give a lot of exercise to people to look at them in the mirror or to touch their body, to put a good music and touch your body and be like, "Ooh, I like that part. Ooh, I like that part less." you know or when I trained in tantra, we also did this exercise where you draw your body. Also, the way you draw your body is the way you view it, as a archetype, and having an inner dialogue with it. I haven't done that exercise much, but I know it can be a powerful one. I did more of the other one, looking in the mirror or looking at it or looking ugly. I did the same with my voice, by the way. I send a lot of audio recording messages to my friends, a lot of video messages, and I really sent to all of them to hear how I spoke and to be okay with my voice. Many people hate their voice. I'm sure you come across that. So until I was
Mhm.
okay with it. So you can practice the opposite until you're comfortable with it. And it's about being at peace. It's not about having the perfect body. I have a huge feet for my size. Don't get me wrong. And would say, but I like the rest, so it's okay. I know how to help to dress up in a way that doesn't make them even more huge. But it's a fact. I have big feet and I can be okay with it and not traumatized or attached to it. And some other part of my body, it's a bit more difficult, of course. So I also get into that full pit also as a woman, but there's ways to work on it. One last thing I wanted to say, sorry, it's a lot,
It's
is
great.
I have shown that to many groups of women. When we learn styling, we learn 7 categories, at least for body shape for women, and it's like some 4 for men, 5, we could say. And those are not even the realities; are just guidelines. You know, Maybe women have read about it often: the hourglass, the triangle, the pear shape, blah blah blah. But they are guidelines. Almost never met one woman was exactly one of those. They were always a combination. But when I like to show to people when I give presentation is a percentage. And I'm not going to say the right percentage because I don't remember exactly, but like the hourglass, which is a Marilyn Monroe perfect, woman, it's 8 to 10% of the population in reality. So I see women, they get really angry when they see that, and it's good. I'm like, because anger has so much force and punch to move forward things and create change, because they feel they have been fooled. They feel they have been fooled. Like, okay, everybody in the magazine is telling you you should look like this, but there's actually only 8% of the population who can look like this. So, and that's why we see so many brands now who are like trying to readjust that image with different body shape. So it's the same that when I was talking about looking at my body and think that my feet are big, but they are there, they're part of my body. So it's to having, and at the same time, I have beautiful hair and beautiful eyes. Both are existing in the same body. So it's to see that all those contradictions are existing in the collective, and there's not one body being more beautiful. There's just a diversity of millions of body shape and types. That is real creativity
Mm.
that the universe has created. It took two different things, put them together, created something, and it's you. And now you have to work that uniqueness out with your voice, with your body language, with your clothes, with your actions, your feelings, and your thoughts. And the question is, what will you do with that?
Well, that was very inspiring. That was beautiful. Wow, I feel so fired up by your words now, and I expect people listening at home are going to be feeling that too.
Yeah.
So I like that feels a perfect place to actually end things, I think, with maybe just a couple more like, so if someone is listening to this and is also
Yes.
like me feeling like yes, the fire, what's one small thing that they could do today already to make an impact?
It so depends where they are at or what they long for. But you want me to give a tool?
Yeah.
I really like what my friend did, like to go to shops and stores and try on what you're afraid of. And maybe I want to take it one step further. Go to an expensive shop because you want to try on good fabric, good materials, who have good fit and cut. Because if you do that in an, I'm not going to say name, but fast fashion store, like we have many, and you try something and it doesn't fit right, it's just going to take away from the experience. So give yourself the full on experience treat. That's, I think, a big tool. And the thing is, I shop like this a lot, but I never noticed. Not that I shop in expensive store, but I shop like just by putting out what I like and I'm just gonna try it on. And some I like, some I don't like, of course. But I would say that. And another powerful tool I think people can do a Pinterest board. Do a Pinterest board of what you like and enjoy, what you're attracted. And you review it a couple of times and you review it again and you look at it again. Is how do you feel? Because it's about deepening question here. How do you feel about it when you look at it? Are you afraid? Are you excited? Do you feel lost? Then you maybe need to call me. you know but yeah. And also you can take small steps. Okay, now I'm giving free tools. You can take small steps. You don't have to wear those. We all have clothes in our wardrobe that we don't wear because we're scared of them. We all have those. We have bought them and we wait for the right occasion. And I always say my client, of course, you can play the rule of it's okay to be dressed up a bit more, 15% more. But my religion, my Virginie rule is it's never too much. Never. So, of course, I'm not saying go in high heels at the supermarket, but why not? If you're afraid to train it in front of your friends, maybe you feel more comfortable doing it at the supermarket for 15 minutes and you build confidence. Or you need a safe space. You need to do it with girlfriend that you feel comfortable with. So you really dress up and maybe you give them a warning of that. Hey, ladies, I'm really trying to dress up out of my comfort zone. And so just, tonight I'm going to come like a queen and I'm gonna be maybe totally out of our cozy pajama party situation, or I'm gonna dress up my best pajamas, my most luxurious pajamas. It's in silk, it's in pink, bright colors, or it's in glitter, or it's like white, pure, I don't know, most expensive cottons, but I'm going to treat you with my stuff. So you can also give a head up to people, or, but you take small step. Where can I train it a little bit? I had a woman who once shared with me, we had exactly that talk and talked about the different steps. And she said that she would wear something nice and sexy, a little bit with thin straps and a bit vulnerable, we could say, décolletage and so on. But she would always wear a big knit to hide. So so she was afraid. So we talked about this, and then she went to an event the next day, and she just practiced taking off her sweater, and she just sat there, sweater off, and just having her delicate outfit, really feminine, and she was a very feminine woman. So, and she just practiced being there and sitting with it and feeling that discomfort. And what happened is people came to her and was like, "Oh, you look so nice. It's so beautiful, your top." So something happened also when we
Mm.
there. And of course, the opposite can also happen. People can also use that against you. But then you will know about them as well, also a bit more. So try to practice small safe step in a safe space if you can, and maybe a bit less safe sometimes out of your comfort zone.
Beautiful.
Oh, I have another
Beautiful.
one. Wait,
Thank you.
I have another one.
All right.
I have another one because I go often to festival retreats, and women always dress up after 2 or 3 days. They put nice clothes after 2 or 3 days, and I ask them, "Wow, it's so beautiful!" And they always tell me, "Yeah, I didn't dare to wear it the first day because I was afraid it was too much." So that's, to me, a super clear indicator here. If you have this inner dialogue when you go to a festival or retreat or spend some days in it can be for work, wear your nice clothes on day one. That's a good stretch to do. Wear the nice clothes right away.
Mm,
Scary?
beautiful. Scary. And I really, I'm so with you on moving outside one's comfort zone. And I also think that it can be so beautiful and so much more fun to do that with some extra support. So
Yes.
I'm going to make sure that I put the link to your Facebook group and to join your mailing list in the show notes here, so that people can stay in touch with you and keep getting these beautiful ideas and inspirations from you. And I know that there is a way to work with you more closely on all of these topics. Do you want to just tell a little bit about that?
Yes, we can have a call first. Whoever you are and you are interested and you want to know more about this, or you want to discover more of who you are and you are tired of hiding, you are still afraid maybe, then we can have a exploration talk first. See what you're after, what are the challenging, what are the struggle, what do you desire, what you long for, what your heart sing for. And after that, of course, we can dig deeper, and I can give tools for colors, tools for body shape, style exploration. How do we find out what your style is? I take you shopping, whether you buy or not. We can also do, I often have personalized exercise. I give an ebook that you will have all your life with, or for many years to come, let's say. And same for the colors. I'm going to run a test of color analysis to know what color fits you, because there is a science of that actually. And same, you will have that until your hair turn gray. You will know what are the right color for you to use. So it's a lot of tools to navigate, and I will support you in that. We'll exchange, and I'm planning to do groups in the future. So you're not doing that alone. You're not doing that alone. You have if before you have experienced judgment from other people, here you will experience support from other women. And my I can tell you that women are always astonished by, "Oh, she has the same problem than me. Oh, she's struggling with the same thing." And together we're a bit stronger. So that's a lot of what I do. Future groups and one-on-one support and tools and exploration for finding who you are. What's your personality? What I call it, style personality. That's how I call it. And tools and learning and growth. Does that answer your question?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. So you listening, definitely make sure that you check the show notes for
yeah.
those links. Um
I can also say one thing: if you come to me or if we work together, also bring your truth, bring your vulnerability and your truth, because we need to dig into that. So bring that with you.
mm, beautiful. Is there anything that I should have asked you today that I didn't?
Uh, Let me think now. I think no. I think we. I mean, there's so much we could talk about. There's so much more to say. But I really enjoyed that talk and the space to express. Really enjoyable to share a bit of more of me also here to the world and how I can help people. And I really enjoy your space holding in that. So thank you so much. And I felt, if you want to know, guys, I felt stressed too. I was like this also sometimes with my fingers, and sometimes like, wow. And at the same time, I had excitement, fear and excitement being such close feelings very often. And I also had to get out of my comfort zone here, giving that talk. And I also had to be like, oh, maybe people are going to judge what I say, or maybe they're definitely going to have an opinion for sure, you know. But I was like, I have to do it. It's also an opportunity of growth, of doing something fun. And I feel quite safe also with you. So I'm also going for that road myself. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing about that. Um, and it's been really nice for me because, usually we're actually speaking quite often, but
Yeah.
usually about just slightly different things. And it's really nice to speak directly into actually like the content of what we actually do and the meaning behind it. And it's so beautiful to find those parallels.
Yes, and because
Um,
you and me, we do that. I mean, everything you and me speak as accountability partner in business and entrepreneurship, we talk about practicalities more. Okay, I have to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, was some weeks ago, I was like, Kim, what do you use for mailing list? But we do also pushing button stuff. Like one of my teachers said, I push button all the way, or try to learn about the business and practicality and so on because of this that I just express that I want to put out for people. And same for you, so that they can express more of themselves through voice. So where I was going there, somewhere. I don't remember. I lost my train of thought. But like, yeah, we have this accountability talk, which are practical and not so inspiring, but they are things to put in place because we want to offer that as much as we can, at least to other
Exactly.
people.
Like they're the practicalities that come from us really wanting these things to reach more people because they're so important. This
Yes.
journey towards feeling more fully expressed in the world, taking more
Yeah.
space, just feeling like, oh, I am here. I am here more fully, more expressive, more true, more creative. Like when we're showing up in that way, it's like the whole of life kind of just switches on that bit more, and
Exactly.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So yeah, thank you so much, Virginie, for
Thank
coming
you to
on the
you.
podcast.
Thank you
It's
to
been
you.
beautiful.
Thank you
Mm,
to you.
it's been beautiful to talk to you. And for the ones listening, I want to just remind you that if you want to work more closely with me, then we also have my Amplify program, which is more related to the voice and how we show up with that full expression in terms of speaking our truth, saying what we mean, and also like using our voice artistically to sing our songs and write songs.
Can
And
I
we also have the
also
joyful.
can I also say a tiny bit, because I got to know you through your work in a way.
Mm.
So can I share a bit about my experience with you,
Oh
actually?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So because we were at Nordic Women's Gathering, I think a few years ago, And the planning was that you can just put on a workshop pretty much. And you, Kim, put on a workshop, and we had this 2 hours with you. And I think we were a room of 30 women. And I want to say, to lead 30 women, you really need to know what you're talking about. You need to have explored things in and out. You need to really speak from your gut to hold that space for so many, to all of them be able to be with a feeling at the same time. And that was extraordinary journey that you brought us through. Like the way we express, we were with our feeling, our emotion, mimicking them, doing them with our voice, our body, and it was so liberating. It's one of the best workshops I've been in some years, actually. And I was like, wow, this woman is amazing. It's like literally what I felt. I was like, this is an amazing workshop. And I'm not just saying that because we're now here in the podcast, but like, it was really for me a great experience. And I've been keeping referring people actually to you as soon as they want to explore their voice and so on. I'm like, oh, this woman, she's called Kim, she's so great, because I had such a fantastic experience, and I saw so much leadership literally in what you shared, and the way you could hold everyone together in the experience was astonishing to me, really.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for those words.
You're so
That's
welcome.
beautiful. Mm. So, well, I'll put I don't want to say too much after that. That was just so beautiful. I'll put links in the show notes also for how to work with me. And Virginie, wow. I'm so impressed by how you I'm so impressed by your voice actually, beside from everything else, like how you show up in your leadership and your expertise, and how elegantly you express yourself in a way that also feels so inspiring. So thank you so much. I've loved this conversation.
Thank you.
Mwah.